Alright, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have addressed you guys that way. That was offensive. I'm sorry. I didn't know any better, you know. It was my fault. But well, I guess today, as safely as I can say this, respecting everybody, that we will be talking about the sensitive and rightfully sensitive feelings of video game journalists. Alright, joke's over. So you guys basically know by now that video game journalists are some of the softest, most easy to offend, ridiculous human beings on the planet. And it's insane to me. These people literally get paid to write about video games. They get paid to play video games and then write about them. And apparently, you know, they're just so targeted, just such victims, you know, people attack them so horribly. Now, I will say there have been instances where the gaming community has gone too far and actually, you know, been completely ridiculous towards journalists for very innocent things. But 9 times out of 10, these sniveling people are just fucking absolutely deserving of exactly what's being said or done to them. I mean, like the death threats and everything, that's going too far. The doxing, that's going too far. But I mean, these people get trolled on Twitter and get worked up. Honestly, I don't feel bad for them. So what started the entire situation here today is an article from harddrive.net. Now, keep in mind, this article was not serious whatsoever. It was actually called IGN Writer Excited to Start Playing Game He Just Finished Reviewing, okay? I think pretty much anyone with a functioning brain and about 6 cells in it can actually figure out that that was a joke. I mean, is it really a joke, though? I mean, all good jokes have some truth to them. I wouldn't be surprised if they were writing articles without playing or finishing video games. IGN writer Austin Rivera expressed his excitement this week to begin playing his advanced copy of Call of Duty Black Ops 4, a game which he just finished reviewing for the prestigious video game website. With most games, I usually just copy and paste my full review from Boomstick's YouTube page and tweak a few words, said Rivera while waiting for COD's Day 1 patch to download. But Black Ops is one of the biggest games of the year, so my editors really wanted me to take my time with this one. I just can't wait to see if any of the stuff I wrote is true. Rivera, who has worked at IGN for the past 5 years, says that this unorthodox review style is fairly standard for the gaming site, noting that deadlines and time constraints often keep reviewers from fully enjoying or often even playing a game at all. Honestly, it's rough trying to fit all of these games into my schedule. Usually I'll just praise a game as a bold step forward for the franchise, nitpick a few technical issues, and slap an 8.5, then ship that bad boy out. Honestly, pretty funny, and might I add that this article actually came out on August 9th of 2018, so it's been nearly 3 full years since this article was actually first published, and then on top of that, it was actually only just kind of like re-signaled, I guess, by Hard Drive on Twitter on May 29th. And it led to an absolute shitstorm from these reviewers, all of which are totally sane and rational human beings. First and foremost, it was a pretty funny and clever joke. I mean, if you've ever watched like a video game donkey video about game reviews, I mean, it's spot on. I haven't read a useful game review since I was about 12 years old, okay? Yeah, it's been probably a decade now since there was a good one that I've read. The truth is video game journalists, they do have one of the easiest jobs I can imagine. First and foremost, they get to play video games all day. And this is coming from me, I'm a fucking YouTuber, okay? They play video games all day, and then they're just supposed to type what they think. They're supposed to just type what they think. Like, it's such a fucking first world problem that these people have. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to go through and show you guys the fucking absolute chasm of intelligence that has developed as a result of this being re-signaled, I guess, by hard drive here. This ain't it. At the time, it was a very specific dig, but bringing this one out in 2021 just perpetuates a harmful view of critics, and with all the stuff going on at IGN, it feels especially inappropriate. Okay, so once again, I feel like most people with a brain can tell that this is a joke, you know what I'm saying? Like, who the fuck is reading this article and just being like, yeah, you know what? I loved video game critics before. I read IGN every day of my life to find out everything I could about the upcoming video games coming out, but now that Hard Drive magazine published 3 years ago, might I add, a funny article, and they reshared it on Twitter, I now hate video game journalists. Like, they're so fucking... they lack such self-awareness that they don't realize that their behavior is what makes people not be able to fucking stand them. Janet, the reason that I don't like video game critics is because of how you're acting right now. First and foremost, you're the most sensitive people on planet Earth. You can't even be joked with. You can't have anything criticized. You can't have a joke made because you all instantaneously roll up into a ball and fucking cry. You're the biggest pussies ever. Whatever is going on at IGN is entirely unrelated to the article itself. The only relevance it holds is that they said IGN in the article. Like, to be fair, I didn't even know about the quote-unquote stuff going on at IGN right now until you said something, crying. Eric says, "This is actually just really bad. You know? Yeah, so horrible you couldn't criticize even a single piece of anything going on. Yeah. You were so hurt and offended by the absolute just devastating article, joke article might I add, that you couldn't name one thing wrong with it. You know, usually when I find something, like I find a problem with something, I can actually name what's fucking up. If I get a burger from McDonald's, like if I get a Big Mac and that bitch comes with no Big Mac sauce, I can just be like, yeah, this is bad. It doesn't have Big Mac sauce. The lettuce sucks. The cheese isn't melted. The burgers taste like fucking paste. I don't just go, this is really bad. First miss in a while and you managed to hit the umpire. Okay, Victoria Rose. First off, the article was not a miss. That was spot on. I mean, they literally exposed what you do for a living. And the truth is most of these reviewers probably are guilty of exactly what the article's joking about, and that's why they're actually so fucking offended. I love the ratio on this. Like, I'm genuinely mad people are trying to ratio at all, and I haven't centered my career around two hyper-specific games that I spent literally thousands of hours with. What? Talk about fucking irrelevant. I mean, maybe if video game journalists could stick to a point, you wouldn't be shit on so often, but I mean, what does your career being centered around 2 video games have anything to do with the point at hand that you can't take a fucking joke? And I don't know if people actually attempted to ratio you, like, you care, obviously. I mean, if you didn't give a fuck that people were ratioing you, you wouldn't have said anything. And of course, these weren't the only reactions. As a matter of fact, take a look at this. I mean, delete this. This ain't it. Yeah, given the whole Gamergate shit, this ain't it, I'm afraid. Reconsider this. It's harmful and just encouraging trolls and harassment and abuse of people literally just doing their jobs. This is some Gamergate shit and I thought you were above that. Nope, you're funny a lot of the time. This isn't one of those times. Being harassing of journalists, IGN's team stood up for human rights even against their own management recently. They don't deserve this ever, but especially now. The guy you're thinking of, by the way, is Philip Muchin. Co-signed. This is some Gamergate bait bullshit, y'all. This is an extremely shitty take. Do the right thing and take it down. I realize that this is likely just standard weekend re-promo, but the timing is bad and the message is worse. I'm typically a fan of your IGN goofs, but please consider taking this down. This is hurtful to a lot of hard-working folks. Punching down isn't funny. Someone failed to read the room. Read the room! This ain't it, y'all. Like, how fucking easily offendable are you? It was a wonderful joke. I thought it was fucking hilarious. You know, I actually didn't read the article when it came out, but I read through the entire one now that they reshared it just simply because of how mad you were. And I'm starting to realize that maybe you guys are guilty of exactly what the article is saying, and that's why you're so fucking mad, because there's no other reason you could potentially be upset. Like, if you're an ethical game journalist who actually sticks to honestly reviewing video games, you actually spend time with the games before you play them, and you genuinely care about the gaming industry, you would have no reason to be upset about this. The only people who have a legitimate reason to be upset by what was said in this article were people guilty of what the article said. Basically, bullshitting their reviews, not giving games a full chance before they write about them, writing generic fucking reviews that say the same thing that every other review you've ever written say, oh, major step forward for the franchise. Like, you've been exposed for this before. Like, it's a known issue in games journalism, and it's a major reason why most people who play video games don't give a fuck about game journalists. It's not because of Gamergate or because, whatever reason you want to come up with. It's because of shit like this. You interject your opinions where they don't need to be interjected. You bring your personal beliefs in on shit that don't need to have them brought in on. You're fucking sensitive, you cry about everything, you don't actually contribute that much to the gaming industry besides paid copy and paste reviews for all the major AAA titles, and then you turn the people who play video games, which is your primary demographic, against you by fucking claiming that their only reason to laugh would be because Gamergate. Like, you realize Gamergate has been years upon years ago, right? You're still pearl clutching this fucking whole issue? Even on situations where it's not even close to, even remotely related to what's going on. Like, come on, dude. These people are so fucking sensitive, and they do it to themselves at this point. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @sub.optimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, probably gaming journalists' #1 enemy now, and signing out.